So if anybody has any questions for me, I'd love to answer them.
Questions?
Have you got any idea from the AAA, is there going to be a limitation on gate or anything like there is with basketball, football?
They kind of changed it up, Mitch, where they let them play more games or they let them play more tournaments. Like, it's more of a kind of, they wanted to go more of a jamboree style where they could do like 3 teams in one spot where it's not a bunch of people at one place. But we were able to host because we're set up at our facility where I got cleared through the health department where we can host the full tournament. So that's why we were able to fill ours, because we've got access to do that. And a lot of them want to play tournaments instead of just adding more games where they can play some different people instead of just their conference foes or someone close to them. Few schools are not allowing teams to travel overnight, but some are. So, you know, we got lucky on that, and we still get teams that are able to stay here in town. But
like I said, they're not limiting your attendance like they have in basketball this year, correct?
No. Well, our attendance goes, we can run 6 of our fields is the most we can run at one time, and all of our classics are on 4 fields. So we can hold up to 2,500 people is what I got cleared through the health department.
All right. Any other questions for Chuck?
I got one, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Chuck, this is Jeremy. Did I understand you correctly that maybe you were alluding to waiting on a plumber, so all your issues with the waiting on some of the materials for finishing up that bathroom has been resolved?
Everything has been delivered this week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Did you say
We're just waiting on the plumber, and Farmer told me by March 1st. He's hoping that's the latest date. We should have everything done by March 1st, and April 1 was our cutoff where we got the extension.
So we actually got the fixtures in, is that right?
Jerry said everything's here, we're just waiting on the plumber, and then we gotta run the electrical and get the plumbing ran, and then we'll be putting everything in, and we should be done. We got pretty much done.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'd like to see those fixtures. Those are supposed to be the prison kind, and I don't know if they're damage proof, but they're supposed to be. Okay, thank you, Chuck. We'll go down to the committees now. Joel, I think we're back to Christmas lights, and I think we threw that to the lady over there last time. Yes. You want to give it to her again?
You bet.
All right. Mary Jane.
Well, we had a discussion about putting Light Up Harrison into a city department along with funding for replacement bulbs. And I would like to, if there's any discussion or about this, because Jerry the mayor, has reached out to volunteers and there wasn't any. So he had suggested that we could put this into the city for installation and then taking them down and have leadership from Rick and Matt. And then, of course, the Christmas bulbs are on sale right now.
Yeah, Mary Jane, you're correct. We talked to Wade mainly on this, and Chuck, they come into play. But last time, Wade gave us 3 of his people for 2 days, and Chuck gave us 2. And then we got 2 from Church 180. And that just went so well, according to Matt and Rick, that having those people. Now, it will not, you can't put them up that quick. No. But in talking to Wade today, if we were to schedule, and I believe Matt and Rick are on here also, if we were to schedule 1 week in, say, the second week in November to put them up, and maybe the second week in January to take them down. And Mary Jean's looking at me a little strange, and we want to get the crew. We don't have people available once you get into later November. you got the holidays and then you
Yes.
got leaf
Well,
pickup.
the
So,
lights have to be up in November 15th.
right, that would be the second week. So if you take them, if you do the second week and give them to
allow
you.
for bad weather,
One
which
week.
they had this
Well, I
last
think
season.
Wade could make them available even the first week or
Okay.
maybe in July.
I don't think so.
But Wade, do you or Matt or Rick have anything to share with that? If we,
Can you hear me?
yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is Rick. What you just said, it would work fine. If we have it, part of the thing is we're still gonna try to get volunteers to go in and you have them all perfect and ready to be strung up and
It'll
done.
be flooding.
You know, if we just have the manpower there for 3 or 4 days to put up, we've already proved that the put up is a long one. Honestly, the shortest I've done it in is 7 weeks with just the skeleton crew. But if we have the equipment and the manpower there, and we should be able to get it, the first year might be a little slower, but after that, you see how quick we pull it down.
Yeah, you mentioned equipment, and I think that was a big factor getting them down. He had a couple of bucket trucks and maybe the other equipment, and that's something I think the city can lend also. Wade indicated that he can make some equipment available to them also. So I think working together can really be good, because the only option, if we don't, is going to be, we're not going to have Christmas lights sometime, and we don't want to get there.
No, we've seen it dark, and we don't want to see it that way again. And it could actually be a tourist incentive to come with the way the lights look.
Okay.
But I would like to,
We also have a invoice in here for 2,400. Do you have that number? If you want to,
No,
these are replacement bulbs for this year that they buy this time of year, and it's usually been about the same the last couple of years. Do you have that exact number, Matt or Rick?
241170.
241170.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mary Jean, do you?
And Mary,
Yeah.
if you don't mind me saying one thing about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jessica, for example, the lady that I've been dealing with since we started this, is she called me this morning, and she did state that, like, when I called her, she goes, well, that's kind of early. And then she called me today, she says, all the cities around the country are scrambling, so they'll have them there next year, don't know what's going to come about on having stocking and further in the fall.
Okay.
well, I really think it was a very good idea of the mayor's to take this into the city part. And of course, the fluffing and replacement of bulbs will still be on the volunteer.
Yeah, and I can guess what's going to happen. Rick is going to have volunteers, and they're going to get out and get a lot of the job done in less time than we think. So we're probably not going to need our people the whole week to put them up. Do we have a motion for?
First time, and I make a motion that we take this and into the city and let the employees in the city be responsible. And of course, all the invoicing comes direct to the city.
Correct.
To be paid.
Okay. Do you want to make that a separate motion and then a separate motion for the 241170? You want to include that
Yes.
in there?
Mr. Mayor, not to question any of this, but do we really need a motion for the
People?
assignment of duties?
No.
We really only need a motion for the money.
That's correct.
That's what we do.
That's correct. We need a motion for the 241170.
Okay,
And there she is.
I make a motion.
Second.
We do
Okay.
that.
We have a motion from Mary Jean and a second from Bill Boswell that we approve the invoice for 241170. Any more discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Someone opposed?
No.
Okay. Unanimous, Jeff. Okay, good deal. Got that taken care of. Let's
We'll have
see.
Christmas lights this year.
Yeah, again, and it was a great year. I thought that was wonderful. Mitch, I know you're on, and it looks like we've already covered what we got you listed for, but go ahead.
Okay, I would remind the public that work here, Luke provided a Budget 101 for some of the new council members and anyone that wanted to see or listen once again. City administration and city budgeting and finance is not like anything else in the financial world, given how guided. But I did want to point out from November's financials, once again, so that there's no misunderstanding, and a lot of times in committee, we forget that council is when a lot of people look at us and look at the financials. But Luke has financials completed through November. Sales tax numbers obviously are excellent. So we still have December sales tax revenues, which should be the highest monthly that we have based on Christmas sales. So, but that will be offset by additional expenses at the end of the year. We go through February before we really finish up December, just letting the council of that. There'll be expenses going on for a little bit further as he finishes out. In each of the funds, the general fund is positive to budget by $261,000. So we had a scheduled deficit, a budgeted deficit of $228,275.08, and we came up with a surplus at this point of the year is $133,535.91. Again, we're up $261,000. To summarize some of the rest of them, the water fund is the only one that's currently in deficit. We have a deficit of $248,000, but the budgeted deficit was going to be $585,000, so that's $337,000 positive. And not to give you the actual numbers, but street fund is positive by $252,000 through November. Fire fund is positive by $141,000 through November, and the police fund is positive to $165,000. And I point those things out because, as Luke said, and as the mayor said, we're in excellent financial health overall, even with building the new public safety building. We want to be conservative with the taxpayers' money. We've got reserves roughly about 4.2 months right now, but that gives council and the city an idea of where we're at financially. Again, the only fund that we have at the deficit would be the water fund right now. So, and we raised rates starting in the near future to cover some of those. So,
Yeah.
That being said, that's all out of finance. It'll be a short month for us.
Okay. Thank you, Mitch. Larry, you got anything tonight?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing tonight. Thank you. Mary Jane, back to you again on police and fire. And
No.
nothing else?
Not today.
You got your shot? Yeah, she did. All right. Bill,
Yes, sir.
hey, welcome.
Thank you. And I'll let you know that you can, thanks to the Weathermatic phone holder, you can drive and do city council business, hands-free, drive down the road all at the same time.
You sounded very
Is
good.
that not illegal, Chief Grady?
Yeah.
I want to file a complaint.
Yeah. You and Robert both sounded good, and I think Robert was on the road also.
Yep. And like I said, it was hands-free. I didn't have hands tied up holding the phone. It was going through my system on my truck, so it was pretty slick. Just couldn't look at you, which is fine anyway. I didn't even look at you, so. What we've got, Mr. Mayor, is, and I'm really going to let Wade take us through this. This is the time of year where we award our annual public works contracts. He and I met earlier today. We went through them all. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So Wade, we have several areas that we need to go ahead and approve tonight. And he's taking care, as he always does, in his highly efficient manner. Has all the bids secured and has everything on a spreadsheet. So Wade, did we lose him?
Nope. Can you see my screen?
Nope, got a blank.
Got a blank?
Well, it didn't work. Okay. Let me
Okay.
try this again.